Make your lawn care business thrive in 2015 with these smart moves. G'day viewers, Jeff McPhee's Gardening, Melbourne, Australia. Are you ready for 2025? Have you had a look back at last year or this year and happy with how you've gone? Today's video I'm going to look at this year, 2024. What can we do better for 2025? It's so important to set ourselves up for a great year. Every year at the end, I always analyse how I went through the past year. What were some of my strengths and weaknesses? I think it's critical for every business owner to undertake this. Now, I suggest you do it after the rush. Wait between the break between Christmas and the New Year, perhaps, if you're going to have some time off. Just relax, just take half a day on your own. Sit out beyond, somewhere where you've got some figures, financial figures, know where you are with your numbers, and just think about what can I do better. Have no distractions and just do it on your own. You may want to do it with your partner, perhaps, or your employees, if you have employees. But I think it's important to spend time on your own to work out which direction you want to go for the future. Now, 2024 this year, like any other year, I like to sit down with my financial numbers. I want to see my bottom line. Have I made any money? Have I look at, I did a video some time ago about having envelopes, putting money in, some for the taxes you've got to pay, an envelope for whereabouts, your materials, like your equipment and etc. But the best envelope, and we call them envelopes, but they're really bank accounts, is the profit one. Have you got any money at the end of the year? Look, things are tough and I understand, and sometimes, I haven't been as flash this year as I have previous year because I've had a few commitments and a few things to pay. But it's nice to know where you stand. And the first thing I do, I look at my prices. So I look at I go through my customer list and I say to myself, am I up with those prices? Is anybody that needs a price rise? I don't do it across the board because normally with residentials, I do it every 2 years. Commercials, it's a standard 1 year. In all our contracts we sign, we always have a increase per annum for commercials, and they understand it because they do it themselves. Residential, my sweet spot, and everybody's different, my sweet spot's been every 2 years. But sometimes I might have to do it yearly depending on how quickly inflation has gone, how quickly prices have increased in our day-to-day running, of course. And the other big thing is, what's the market doing? Now, in our area, our market's been pretty stagnant. A lot of the guys have failed to put their prices up for a few years. And we're at the top end of the market, and I probably will lay off another 12 months before I put the prices up. But it's important to understand your worth. It's important to understand where you stand with your numbers. And that's why one of the biggest things is I look at my prices. And you need to do that by looking at your bottom line, look at how much you've spent, how much is coming in. Are you making some leeway? But again, it's so important to understand where you sit. Now, other things that I'll look at the quality of customers that I have. Do I want to continue with those customers in the next year? Have they been a pain? Have they been giving me problems? So I'll look at each individual client. I'll have a look at each individual client and see what extras that I've been able to undertake with them. What upselling have I been able to achieve with those customers? Can I do more? Can I do it better? Can I do better with the communications with my customer? Can I do a better job? Can I provide them with more worth? Because if the customer sees some more worth for their value of their dollar, they're going to hang on to you. And the most important thing is I look at customer retention. This year I've lost a few customers. Some I was a little bit surprised, but you've got to understand, why did I lose those customers? Was it because I wasn't paying enough attention to some detail? Was it because I was too busy and I couldn't attend to their urgent needs perhaps? There are a lot of issues that you need to sit down and work out. And look, if that is the case, that is fine, but at least understand why you lose customers. That is so important when you're moving on to the 2025 year. Every year, marketing has been a very important part of our business. I need to know where my clients are coming from. Each year I have to analyse my marketing program, our advertising program, which is the best way, So every job that you get, make sure you write it down so at the end of the year you know where your leads are coming from. Is it coming from your web page? Is it coming from your Google, your free ads? Is it coming from Facebook? Whatever meeting that you're doing, you need to understand where your customers are coming from. So you need to make adjustments. You need to take some different directions if you're not getting enough in a particular area. So it's important the areas that you're targeting as well. Are you targeting the best areas? Should you move on to other areas perhaps? Something to think about. And one further thing is I look at where did I go wrong? Where was my efficiency failed? Was I spending too much time in one particular area, or was I travelling too much? What let me down through the year? My equipment. Should I upgrade my equipment? I look at each part of our operation and say we need to upgrade our mobiles, our ride-ons perhaps, but have a look at each piece of equipment. Is it serving its purposes? How many breakdowns have I had? Should I move on? You can only make these decisions, what I've just discussed, is when you need to sit down in the quiet of the day and just think about it. It's too difficult, I found anyway. Maybe some of you guys that can do it naturally, but I find it difficult to do it whilst, especially before Christmas, you've got that great big run to get everything done, and even through the year, you flat chat. You haven't got time to think about your business. You just want to get out, you just want to get it done, get paid, and then move on to the next day. But this is a golden opportunity when you have that little break and to move on for the future. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of people in business that are quite content on how they're going, just rolling along. And I've been guilty of that in the last couple of years because I really don't know what my end day is, but at the moment I'm just cruising. But this year I'm snapping myself out because I want to move on to a different direction next year. And that's subject to a later video, but I really want to continue this business, but I want to move it into a direction where it's going to be easier on my aging body. But there's a lot out there that are quite happy with where they're going, and that is a great position to be in. But for the guys and girls that are starting out in their business, starting out in their early days, I've got to continually think about the future, continually think about better ideas. How can I do it better? How can I get better? That's so important. But it's just as important if you're happy to ramble along. But sometimes when you ramble along, you can get caught up. And I've seen it so many times. I speak to a lot of contractors over the time, and some will say, "Oh, I'm starting to lose a few customers, and I really need to picking up some more work. We're finding it to struggle a bit because they failed to have a look at the whole big picture." And it's so easy to fall in that trap of going out there and doing the easy things. But you need, if you want to grow, and I think it's important that you do grow if you want to succeed in the long journey. I don't think you can just go along and ramble along like I did for 40 years. You can't do that. You need to each year grow. And there will be times when you can slacken off, which I'm doing. But I'm not happy about it, by the way, but that's what it is. But you need to think about the future with that aspect. So what's for 2025? There's a few key issues that I look at each year. First off is embrace technology. Have a look at what's new for 2025. I think it's going to be a challenging year. It's going to be a fast year of technology. Battery, I know some people, there's this battery versus petrol argument. Let me be assured, battery is going heaps and leaps and bounds ahead. There are so many different technologies that are moving fast and are getting better and better. It's unbelievable, the brands that are actually spending all their efforts into improving, to getting to contractors' standard. Mowers are now getting to standards where they are stronger. There's a particular brand that produces more than 7 horsepower of a petrol motor, and it's really busting technology, and there's a lot of others are also doing the same thing. So embrace technology. Look, the old days when you used to write down in the diary, the programs are available, the accountancy programs that make it so much easier for your bookwork. There's a lot of us old guys that put our head in the sand, and new guys too. You've got to take that new technology on board. Using accountancy package, using these programs that make it so much easier. There's programs out there that do all your invoicing for you, remind customers when the next service is due. This AI technology is just getting bigger and bigger. If you don't jump on board, you're going to be left behind, and you need to keep up with it if you can. It's just, look, this technology just makes it so much easier for the work. You just want to go out there, do your work, come home, and your bookwork is done virtually for you. I've got a very simple program. I use a QuickBooks program, for example, for my accountancy, but there's other programs we're adding on to that now where it automatically does our scheduling and automatically tells the customer when we're going to roll up. All these things are just available to us. And the equipment, just look at what's available to you. It's so important to understand and keep abreast of it all. It's fine to go out day to day and just use your old equipment and away you go. And if you're happy with that, that's great. But if you're starting out, if you want to grow your business, you have to be in there. And look, I'm an old codger, and I'm amazed in the technology, but I go along with it. You have to. And it's so much fun. It really makes life so much easier. What's there, it just blows your mind. Go to some trade shows, keep on the internet, talk to people. There's so much information about it. And don't wipe out robotic mowers. Robotic mowers are big time. Look, over the last month, I've spent a bit of time with operators that have robotic mowers that do acreage. They do slopes of embankments. The guy just walks along and he's got his little, what do you call them? The little things, gaming pads or whatever they are, and it controls the mower. And he just walks up and down, and these slopes, you can't get to them with a ride-on mower. Unless you want to whipper-step it by hand, this thing just kills it. And it's amazing, very expensive, but it certainly get his money back. And robotic mowers, a lot of contractors now that I know that are taking their robotic mowers and they're leaving it on site, commercial properties, or they may have it, they'll let the robotic mower do all the mowing while they do all the edges, do all the garden maintenance and pick up the mower and go to the next job. And yes, some of these robotic mowers actually catch grass as well. But the thing is, you've got to keep abreast of it. You just can't just ignore it. It's there, use it. My kids, they use robotic vacuum cleaners. And I said to them, would you use a robotic mower? Of course, Dad, that's what we do. And it's not going to replace your job if you can provide that service. If you're prepared to go into that particular niche, you'll do quite well. But it's not going to happen to everybody, of course. The most important aspect to think about your business is the marketing. You know, upgrade your web pages. Look at your brand. Make sure it's consistent across the board. So you've got a logo, for example, that may be on your vehicle. It may be on your uniform. It may be on your web page. It may be on all your Facebook ads or your Google ads. Keep up with that consistency across the board. Makes you look so much more professional. Think about your marketing. Think about what type of customer that you want to take on for 2025. Do I want to keep going my existing customers, or do I want to try something different? Whilst we're on that subject, it's so important to work outside the box. Now, keep the majority of your business the same as what you've been doing, because that's bringing you income. But don't be frightened to think outside of the box. Like I mentioned before, the robotic mowers. There's a lot of other aspects of gardening and lawn care going outside of the box that not many other people do that could be beneficial to you. You may find you like it, you may find that you're good at it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, but at least try it. Providing you've got your core of your business, providing your income, providing a good turnover and everything's going sweet, try these extras outside the box aspects. And once you find a niche, once you find something that's successful, well, maybe you can move more into that particular market. But think about it. There's just so much out there to think about. This profession of ours is gone up so many levels. When I started, we were just called the lawnmower man. Well, we're not the lawnmower man anymore. We're the businessman, the businesswoman. We are running a business, and there is so much tools and technology for us to be as successful as any other business going around. But you need to broaden, you need to think outside the box, you need to do these things, you need to learn from your mistakes. The best thing from 2024 to 2025, the mistakes I made, and I still make them after all these years, I will learn from that, and then we'll make sure that we put something in for the new year that'll make it better. 2025, it's important to network. To do all these extra things, you need to network with other contractors. You need to see what they're up to, what their thinking is. You will come across negative people. Get out of there. Don't talk to them. Talk to the people that are outside the box. They might be a bit crazy. They might have these weird ideas. You think there's no way knowing that can happen. Listen to them. Have a look at what they're doing. You never know. It might work. It's important to understand when you're working together, when you're working with other people and you're talking, how much you can bring this industry into the future to make it a better industry than what it is. Don't get me wrong, this industry is a lot bigger than what you really think it is. The billions of dollars it turns over for the economy is unbelievable. In Australia, there's 16 to 20,000 individual businesses that run the lawn care business. You know, England and America, I hate to think how many there are there, but it shows you it's a very big market. It's no longer that, you know, cowboy go in there and mow a few lawns and make a couple of bucks for some beer money and whatever. I just believe this industry is a lot bigger than most of us really believe it is. It is. Trust me. I just can't get my head around the changes. I can't get my head around, well, I can now, but the professionalism that's shown, and these young guys that are coming in, and it's pushing a few of the people along and making it so much better. Viewers, look, it's a pretty heavy subject. I'm going to talk about Merry Christmas and the New Year and thank you and all that, but I'm going to do that in a video next week, before Christmas. We'll do a little, show you my lights and all those sort of things, but I just wanted to put this thought into your head about what to do next year, and we'll say the traditional thanks and all that next week. So give me some comments about, you know, your thoughts about 2025. What do you think it's going to happen? Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.